Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Welcome to New Life Live. So glad that you're with us today. Chris Williams, licensed marriage and family therapist here. I have another one of the ilk of licensed marriage and family therapist, Marc Cameron.
Hi, Chris.
Good to see you today.
Hey, Alice.
Hi.
And we have the real genius in the house, the licensed psychologist, Dr. Alice Benton.
Well, thank you.
How you doing, Alice?
Doing very well.
Good. Well, want to hear more of your genius, so tell us what's on your mind today.
Well, this genius comes from personal struggle, professional struggle, so we'll start there with a question. Should we overlook subtle verbal and nonverbal mistreatment? We've got a couple Bible verses here that are conflicting because love covers a multitude of sins. It's good to overlook offenses, and we're supposed to turn the other cheek. So I would say it depends. Should we overlook mistreatment? It depends on the severity of it, the frequency, the level of connection we have to a person who is mistreating us, and then the emotion it elicits in us. Because if it's a one-off, they're having a bad day, and it's not the normal way of communicating in relationship, we probably should give some grace and overlook it. And if there's a good foundation, relationship can survive one-time harshness. But if it is chronic, and we're starting to feel hurt, guarded, or argumentative because of how we're being mistreated, then I think we have to confront it. Now, there are ways of confronting that make it more likely that the person will be able to receive our confrontation and respond well. It always helps to start with an I statement. I feel hurt. I feel shaky when you have an edge in your voice with me. Would you please soften your tone?
That's good.
But if the person can't respond to that gentle request and they keep mistreating us, well, then we've got to tell them what we're going to do about it. If you can't, or you won't soften your tone, then I'm going to need to take a break from you. Whether that means I've got to walk out of the room, or you're my child, and I'm going to make sure you walk out of the room and head to your own bedroom for a while. Our hearts don't handle mistreatment well if it's chronic and sustained over time. It makes us sick.
Yeah.
It makes the relationship sick. And it enables the person who's mistreating us to do so more often. And so I would say it's more loving to point it out, especially if it is becoming a pattern. So I think the Bible verse that backs up this approach is that if our brother is sinning against us, we should confront them with truth, with grace, in privacy, and hope that they will change. If they won't change, then we may have to change how we handle the relationship. Now, when this works, it's like a taste of heaven. My son was actually growling at me last night when I was clipping his nails and doing him a real act of service. He was growling at me. And so I used this style. I confronted him. Well, he wouldn't stop, so he had to go to his bedroom. And then he missed me. And so he came back out and said, "I'm sorry. Would you forgive me? I want to have a redo." It felt wonderful. It was redemption. But sometimes we lose relationship when we set a standard like that, and it is painful. But that reality is our friend, because if a person doesn't care enough about us to soften their voice with us, it means there's a sickness in the relationship that then needs to be addressed at another level. Boundaries are beautiful because they can work and draw better out of another person, but they can also be very risky because it may reveal how deteriorated the relationship already is.
Yeah. But I think that's really important because I see really two sides of the healthy coin of relationship. And one is maybe some of us need to be less offendable. It's like some of us carry a higher sensitivity, and we need to give grace where there's one-offs. We need to give grace where there is abnormal rudeness or whatever. Yeah. But if there's pattern of rupture and pain and difficulty, that has to be addressed. And that wisdom of being able to approach a harsh situation with a soft word and with honesty in that's so good. Really, really helpful in especially coming up on holidays where conversations like this may happen.
You might have some growlers coming to your dinner table.
Absolutely. Hey, we're going to go to the calls right after this. We'll come back with Karen, and we'll be right back.
I had been in porn addiction. My past had not been found out at all, yet I had hit a point in my life where it was time.
Men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. The Everyman's Battle Intensive can help.
I never divulged what I'd been doing.
Find help today at New Life's Everyman's Battle Intensive.
This is a place that changed my life in such a positive way for Christ, because I could be the Christian man that I'm called to be.
Now the intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, December 6th through the 8th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I cannot say enough what it does in the Christian community for not just men, for their children, for their wives.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so glad that you're with us today, and we're going to straight to the calls. We're going to Karen in Rockville, Maryland, listening on WAVA. Karen, tell us what's going on today.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Good now that you're with us. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. So I am, I'm mid-50s, been married for the second time for just over 5 years. The marriage has been extremely difficult because of our incompatibilities, and it's heading for divorce. Yeah, it was probably, a mistake. I had been a single mom, very independent for 15 years. He had been a single dad for 20-something years. And it just, it's not something I would recommend to anyone to do that, because it's just very hard to break habits and stuff. So my question is, I was going to ask one question, but I really, really should ask this one, and that is, I realize with me, I can give grace so easily to females in my life, my sister, my daughters, my friends, but it's very hard for me to give grace to the men in my life. And I really, at this age, need to look at that and go, why is that? My husband, very needy. He needed a lot of attention. I felt too much pressure, way too much pressure from him, and it was overwhelming. But then on the other hand, I was quick to criticize him for every crazy habit that he had, and things like that.
Well, Karen, let me jump in, because there seems to be some really good self-awareness that you have around the situation. And I love the self-awareness of like, hey, I notice with these particular species of people called females, I have grace for, and this other species of creatures called males, I tend to not have as much grace for. So let me just ask a quick question. If you look back really quickly on your life experience, your experiences with men, and it was the title of a book, what would the title of that book be?
Disappointment.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good. I'm glad you got there really quickly. Yeah.
And Karen, what have you done to try to get healing for that high level of disappointment that is legitimate because of how these men have treated you?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I mean, I did have I've gone to counseling, but the best counseling I had was a pastor that I was seeing for a little bit, where it was one of those where she's like, take me back to the first time you remember being hurt by your dad,
So you have done some good historical work, and you've had a variety of counselors, and yet that disappointment still seems like it's weighing really heavily, and it impacts how critical you are of your current husband. Is that right?
Yeah.
And as I heard a tremble in your voice, I think that really hits on the grief that you're holding. As you're facing the probability of divorce, what is your question for us, Karen?
Oh, we just dropped it. Just lost her, but keep going. Keep going.
So we will speak to what would be most recommended for you to do in this position. Divorce just brings with it inevitable suffering, and sometimes it is necessary. It's the lesser of two evils. But we highly suggest that you try everything possible to avoid a divorce and to bring about healing in this current marriage to safeguard you from that inevitable suffering. And so if you're not in individual counseling right now to tackle the disappointment, to tell those stories, and we got to repeat them sometimes over and over again in order to get angry enough with a safe person and then to grieve, so that we change how we see our current husband, because he may be receiving some consequences from a lot of other men in your life. And we want to help you to differentiate him and his imperfections that he has from the men who have probably severely mistreated you before him. That comes through the grief process.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I know Karen's not on the line, but I'm sure you're listening here, Karen.
Yeah, we got her back. Yeah.
Oh, you are here. Okay.
Here I am.
Oh, there you are. Well, you know what I love that you are able to see that there is a wound there. Now, here's the thing. Whenever we have an unhealed wound, it will continue to be triggered over and over again until we deal with it. Now, other people typically are the ones that cause the wound from childhood, but then it's on us to learn how to heal it so that others don't keep unintentionally stepping on it. And so what I'm thinking here is that your husband, I'm sure there's other things going on, but your husband's probably likely stepping on this disappointment wound, sometimes maybe purposely, sometimes maybe not purposefully. And what that's doing is it's creating a conflict pattern. Now, one thing to consider here is that we all are impacted by hard childhoods, so he probably has some unhealed wounds too. So it's key that you both learn how to identify what those wounds are so that you can learn to heal them, and you can also be aware of them in the other person. Now, I heard you use this phrase earlier on that you just weren't compatible, or you're realizing that. But I think compatibility has less to do with two people being similar and more to do with the couple's ability to be able to negotiate, compromise, take turns, repair. And these are all learned skills that we learn. And if we don't learn them in our families of origin growing up, we've got to unlearn what we did learn and go and try and learn these healthy communication skills. And so what I would say to you here, Karen, is sure, I'm sure your husband has a lot that he needs to work on, but get into therapy with a counselor who's going to walk you back through your past history so that you can identify where that wound came from, that you can heal it for good. And then that way it's not there for your husband to step on, and you're not going to be reactive to those things. And it equips you to better be able to identify what some of the real problems are when we heal our wounds.
Yeah, because, there's this principle is that the pain that we do not heal is the pain that we perpetuate. And so whether you're in this marriage carrying this difficult pattern with men, it's going to be in any relationship. So that is my encouragement, that you first address what is going on inside of you and the wounds and the damage that you're carrying from your past, so that you can be more clear in what healthy relationship looks like moving forward, and then doing the work to get into understanding and participating in healthy relationships.
Because even if you do ultimately, and we hope it doesn't, but even if you do ultimately end up getting a divorce, you can only practice something in a real life situation. And right now, your current husband, triggers those wounds for you. So it's creating an opportunity for you to practice the reconditioning in a real life situation. And like Chris is saying, if you don't do that, it will just keep coming up in all your future relationships.
So you might tell him, I think my history of disappointment with other people might be getting in the way of our relationship. And I think this is worth us taking a good shot at seeing if we can get better. Would you come to intimacy and marriage with me February here in California, February 14th, the weekend of. And then let's try 6 months of intensive couples counseling to see if we can get this right. And if not, if that doesn't work, Karen, then consider, do we have to move to a separation? But there's still a good growth opportunity for you to, before you go that route.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Karen, we're going to send you a copy of Healing as a Choice. We're also going to send you a copy of How We Love. So we're going to send you 2 resources here that I think work together really, really well. So, Karen, thank you so much for calling in today. And yes, and absolutely. I love that advice. I think it's the right direction. Absolutely. Get into couples counseling, get into our intimacy in marriage, and the principle that is just so true is that we are historic beings and we carry our history in us, and it shows up in real time, and we got to go address it. So we're going to keep addressing issues that we are struggling with in our lives today. We're going to address that with Elijah, calling from Washington, D.C., listening on WAVA. Elijah, tell us what's happening in your life today.
Yeah, how are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah. All right. I just calling in. I just had a quick question. This is dealing with the rebuilding part after your spouse has an affair.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife had an affair, not just one, but she had 2. It's like you tried to come back into the relationship the same way you left, still, lying and stuff like that. But I went to counseling to try to get, some help. But more of the counseling was kind of like, what did you do wrong? You had to do something wrong for this person to do that.
Ooh.
It was.
That's.
It was like.
Yeah.
It was like women just don't normally do that. You had to do, and I was trying to tell them if you listen to her, and so when I try to tell her how I feel, she cuts me off. It's like as soon as I start explaining it, she'll just cut me off and be like, oh, that's just, So it kind of blew over, and everyone was like...
So was that hold on, let me jump in, Elijah. So clarity, was it the therapist who was cutting you off or your wife who was cutting you off?
My wife who was cutting me off.
Okay. So
and she still does that today.
Okay, yeah. So let me jump in here really quickly because I want to address the therapy thing first. So it sounds like you encountered victim shaming 101, and that's where we blame the victim for what the perpetrator did, right? And that's incredibly damaging because you are being gaslit, you're being deceived into saying that you are responsible for another person's painful actions towards you. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. The reason I can say this with full confidence is because there can be lots of problems in relationships, but saying an affair is the solution to the problem is actually part of the problem. And so I just want to clarify to let you know that you got really bad counsel there, and I have no problem saying that.
Yeah, I knew that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. When I'm sitting in counseling, I was like, this is not right.
Yes.
One of the counselors was saying, well, she's not doing it now. And I said, whether or not she's not doing it now, it's the mindset.
It's like, that's so bananas. It's like I punched you in the face 3 times, but I'm not doing it right now. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. So
well, I'm glad you figured that out.
So since that day, pretty much the counsel we have is like you just need to put it behind you and move on, and you need to learn how to forgive.
Man, we got to get you some better counsel, man.
So where are you stuck here, Elijah? Is it you're stuck that the last counseling said put it behind you and move on?
Well, it's like
what's your
I've been
question?
Just praying about it, and my question is like navigating where to navigate from here, because that scenario, how it the rebuilding process starts, it makes my spouse think that that the behavior, not that it's doing that, but the cutting off, the dishonoring.
Okay, so
talk is like I'm the problem.
Yeah. So Elijah,
like,
let me jump in here. Any problem that is not directly confronted only grows. This is a major, major problem, right? The affairs. And you're healing, you said it well, you're dealing with a betrayal trauma. To deny that trauma and to deny the problem and to not address it is to only keep it alive and growing. And so it's really important if a person, because I get to have this conversation, unfortunately, with more oftentimes males all the time, is like, you've got to take full ownership head on of what you've done. No denying it, no minimizing it. It's got to be owned. And then you've got to really do the work on the repair. And any couple who's been through a betrayal trauma, infidelity, this isn't a hard and fast number, and it's not magical, but it's a principle. I tell them this: you've got to put 7 years in your back pocket right now, because it takes a long time to restore trust, to get the relationship back to a secure foundation in that. So Elijah, we're going to go to a break right now, and we're going to give you a couple things to take your life and your marriage in a direction that leads to much greater clarity and hopefully much greater healing. We'll be back right after this.
I came kicking and screaming. The last 24 years have been filled with pain. I was violently molested and raped from the age of 6 to 13. It has changed everything in my life. This weekend for me has been life-altering. I have realized that God does love me, that this is my story, and that's okay for the first time in a long time.
This is Steve Arterburn, and this is the story of a new life. She came kicking and screaming and now has a changed life. You can be part of offering hope to others as you step out in faith by donating to New Life Ministry.
To make your tax-deductible gift, visit newlife.com and click Donate. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text NLM to 28950. That's NLM to 28950.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found life recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you are with us today. We're talking with Elijah, who has experienced betrayal trauma, 2 incidences in his marriage of infidelity. Marc, where do you take Elijah from here?
Yeah, Elijah, my heart goes out for you as someone who myself has been on the receiving end of betrayal and having to help other people too. Now, what I do know is that when betrayal has happened, you need to heal that wound. And so you have to go through betrayal recovery. If you don't go through betrayal recovery, you can't rebuild the relationship, because a key part of betrayal recovery is for each of the individual partners to recover. The betrayed partner needs to heal, and they only heal by being able to let out their hurt and feel safe. And the unfaithful partner only recovers when they can take ownership and understand why they did what they did, and empathize and validate and make the betrayed partner feel safe again. If that doesn't happen, then you're not going to be able to rebuild your relationship. That is a key part to this. So what I would say for you is find someone. Let us help put you in touch with somebody who is skilled in betrayal recovery. And that's the direction that I would take. Because you can't just sew up a wound that is infected and expect that it's going to heal. It's not. It's going to keep on rupturing.
Absolutely. So, Elijah, we're going to send you a copy of Intimate Deception, Healing the Wounds of Sexual Betrayal. Know that that's written typically from a wife's perspective, but I have recommended and had so many of my men that I've worked with in your situation, and this book has been incredibly helpful for them to understand what's going on inside of them, and what they need. So, Elijah, thank you so much for calling in. I want to remind men out there that may be struggling in sexual acting out that this causes unbelievable and unspeakable amounts of pain to anyone that you're in relationship with, to the people that you're participating with, and incredible amounts of damage to yourself. If this is a pattern in your life, I want you to discover freedom. And this is the time to do it. For we know that so many men who have benefited from attending Every Man's Battle. If you're thinking about it, actually today's the day to do it. Today is the day to sign up. It's when our early bird registration discount ends. So it's coming up. Join us December 16th in Dallas and start 2025 in a new place with a new trajectory in your life. We've helped thousands of men find freedom from sexual acting out, and we want you to experience that same freedom. You can go to newlife.com to register for Every Man's Battle, or you can just give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We're going to go right back to the phones. We're going to go to Megan in Memphis, Tennessee, listening to us on Sirius XM. Megan, how are you doing today?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Tell us what's going on and how we can help you.
Well, thank you so much for taking my call. I called back in 2023 about my son who, he's bipolar and he had dual diagnosis with addiction.
Okay, yeah.
Well, he went to, you all gave me some great advice, and he did go to rehab.
Oh,
he's
good.
Been out. He did a year's program, and he's out.
Wow.
That's fantastic. And how's he doing today?
He's doing much better, but we have a new problem now.
Okay, tell us the new problem.
He's out. It will be a year. He will have been out a year next month.
Okay.
He's working. He's been working since September.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that he wants to come to my apartment every weekend.
Yeah.
I live in a one-bedroom apartment.
Mm.
My son's he's a big guy.
Yeah.
He's always hot. I'm always cold.
Uh-huh.
I don't mind him coming, but I don't want to see him every weekend.
Yeah.
I don't want and I told him, you can come by to see me, but you cannot come by and stay.
Mm. Yeah.
When he does come, he comes and he brings his own food. He hangs out on the sofa. He's watching TV. He's talking on his telephone. He doesn't go anywhere. He just here. He comes on Saturday. He used to leave on Sunday, but then it got to be he would leave on Monday and come back on Saturday.
Okay.
And Megan, as you have set some limits to that, how has he responded to your limits?
He did not like it at all. Very angry. Very angry.
Did he comply even though with anger?
We just one weekend in now. He didn't come by this weekend. This is the first weekend because I just told him that last Monday when he left.
And how does his anger affect you?
It just makes me feel, I felt bad saying that to him because, again, he's my one and only. Mm-hmm. But I felt like I had to put that barrier there because it's just overwhelming for me because I don't feel like I get a breather before he's back again.
And his presence, when he overstays his welcome, it probably starts to agitate you, and then it's hard to be loving to him when he's been there for too long. Is that right?
Yes, it is. It is. And the thing is, right now he's living with a friend, mm-hmm. and his friend is still living at home with their mom. So he's living with a family right now. And I've encouraged him to, now that you're working now, you've got a few paychecks under your belt, you need to start looking for your own place. And he doesn't. I just started working. No one's going to rent to me. I said, you may not be able to get an apartment, but get a roommate, get a room, do something, but get your own space.
So Megan, because he has not been good at living by boundaries, and it's probably been hard for you to set historically with him, with what he struggles mm-hmm. with, what I want for you is to be comforted by some safe sisters, some women in your life who will help you stand strong in the boundaries you set, even though he gets angry. His anger does not mean your boundary is wrong. It just means he struggles to accept a no and accept a limitation. And so if you don't have women like that in your life, Megan, we can connect you both with a counselor or a coach, but we can also get you into a life group so that you have a sisterhood with whom you can bounce ideas off of and you can go to for comfort when he's upset with you.
And Megan, we're going to send you a copy of Doing Life with Your Adult Children. We'll be back right after this.
I had been in porn addiction. My past had not been found out at all, yet I had hit a point in my life where it was time.
Men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. The Everyman's Battle Intensive can help.
I never divulged what I'd been doing.
Find help today at New Life's Everyman's Battle Intensive.
This is a place that changed my life in such a positive way for Christ, because I could be the Christian man that I'm called to be.
Now the intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, December 6th through the 8th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I cannot say enough what it does in the Christian community for not just men, for their children, for their wives.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you are with us today. As if you've been listening to us, you've heard that we have this really exciting matching gift of $385,000. Again, this allows us to keep putting fuel in the tank of the programs that we have. One of those programs that we have is Restore. And Restore is this incredible experience that allows women who have been pained and damaged by betrayal trauma to not be alone and isolated in their experience, but get them the support, the care, the comfort, and the recovery that they need. One Restored attendee said this: "I came alone and broken. I had no hope. I had tremendous fear, anxiety, and nightmares. I had no tools and no idea what my future held. I am now going home with tools, with a plan, and with hope." Mm-hmm. Your contribution allows people like this attendee to get the help that she needs for her life to get back on its feet, for her to heal and move forward in a very, very difficult location, but a very difficult place. You can text the word MATCH, M-A-T-C-H, to 28950. Again, that's 28950. You can go online to newlife.com or just give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To donate anything that you donate right now, it has a double impact. So please do that today. We're going to go to Michelle, who is a Club New Life member listening in Charlotte, North Carolina. Michelle, tell us what's going on today.
Hey, and I also will be contributing to the match campaign.
Oh, thank you so much. That is so good to hear.
Hey.
Yeah.
So this is, my question is, my mom is a senior. She stayed 2 hours away from me. How can I direct her on something that could possibly be church abuse? I ain't gonna say church, the pastor. Backstory. My mom is a member of a very small church, very small. They're like a family, and I do love that. Mm-hmm. But it's been about 3 or 4 incidents. The most recent one was probably this summer, about 2 or 3 months ago, that the pastor he would talk down to her. He would say things to her because he's highly educated. My mom only has a high school diploma, which it really doesn't matter. But he's always talking about his degrees. Sometimes, and I've heard Steve say this before, if you're at a Bible study and if it sounds more like a talk show, you're not in the right Bible study. Bible study is more like a talk show. And so, in this last incident that happened this summer, there was a situation that my mom didn't agree with, so she talked to the associate pastor. The associate pastor brought it to the pastor, and he blew up. He blew up in front of people. He went off on her.
Oh.
I mean, she felt blindsided. She left the church for a while.
Yeah.
She left the church, but she recently went back, and the reason why she continues to go back, because she's left before, but the reason why she continues to go back is because her and the associate pastor, which is a female, they are close friends. They are like sisters.
Okay.
I
and so
don't agree with it, but
if she left, could they not be close friends still?
yeah, I mean, they still kept in contact when she left, because when she left this last time, she was gone, because I want to say this incident happened in June, and she just started going back about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, they still kept in contact. They were still friends.
Okay. Yeah.
And Michelle, your mom sounds like she is able to confront, and she's able to leave when she doesn't like how she's being treated. Will you explain why you want to intervene more for her when she seems somewhat capable of handling it?
And she did. It's just, my thing is, I want her, it's like when he's around, let's just say they agree to have like Bible study or prayer meeting or whatever, when he's around, her defenses is up. It's like she can't let her hair down. It's like her guard is up. It's like, okay, in case if there is an attack. So I just don't like that she can't be comfortable around him like she can the associate pastor.
Okay,
That's my
so the question for us is, what do you do with your, like, what do you say to your mom? How do you help her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I heard enough to say that would be spiritual abuse, Michelle. Usually when something's abusive, there's a manipulation piece of it. It sounds like maybe this pastor is just reactive, and maybe he's got a little bit full of himself, and he's not good at accepting feedback. So it sounds like your mom is able to have some qualities to be able to protect herself. What you may want to do is just model some boundaries for her, to say, hey mom, when you're in this situation, here's something that you could say, and give her some language. And that's often what I do for clients is I'll give them language, and then we'll role play so that they can feel comfortable. And so that might be helpful to do. But I think ultimately, it sounds like your mom has a lot of agency here, and so some of your growth may be just looking at you and saying, what's going on inside me that makes it difficult to watch someone else struggle, and what's that telling me about me, and how might I be able to grow?
Yeah, I think that's really good, Mark. Yeah.
You can ask your mom, do you want anything from me about this tough situation? For instance, I could go with you to talk to the associate pastor or the head pastor, and I could help you find another church if you want me to. But let your mom give you a yes or a no to your offer to help. She may not need or want your help right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And this is my 2 cents, because I actually deal with a lot of church abuse or spiritual abuse situations. And so I do believe that it is good and okay for us to have 2 things, and it is the truth of holding our faith communities, our churches, to higher standards of relational health. People matter, and shepherds are called to shepherd and to work on that safety. There's also the grace that we're all people, kind of what you're referring to, Mark, of like, hey, he may have his own things that he still needs to work out. And in the midst of that, it's important that we look to work it out. But if I'm being damaged, manipulated, continually mistreated, here's the good news. I can find a different place to find a healthier experience, and one more spiritually enriching to me and to the people that I would want to serve and contribute to. So, but I really love that, of like, hey, ask your mom, what can I do for you? Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And then... And to just reiterate what Marc said, she sounds like a really strong woman.
She's a toughie.
She's a big girl that can take care of her own, and I think that you can trust her on that. We're actually going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back, and hopefully that will help you, Michelle, in continuing down this road. And I will also check out some other resources that may be out there on spiritual abuse or church abuse that give you a greater understanding of what that is and what that looks like. Michelle, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for being a Club New Life member and being a contributing partner of us here at New Life, being able to do what we do. We're going to go right back to the phones. We're going to go to Kate in Anaheim, California, listening on KKLA. Kate, tell us what's going on in your life today.
Hi. Okay, so we recently had an election that divided a lot of people. So I'll give you some history. I have a 35-year-old daughter. Originally is trans. The daughter had my granddaughter, who's 13, before, from a previous marriage and had been in the Army, is out and has married the girlfriend when she decided she was lesbian, but then she decided that she was trans, at 30. So anyway, that's the background.
Okay.
Oh, and I forgot to give you this. As a teenager, she was a cutter, and she did a whole lot of. One of the psychiatrists thought that she could be bipolar. She wouldn't take the medication the right way, so she does seem absolutely mood swings.
Yeah.
And she does go into manic, and she makes changes, and so
so Kate, let me jump in here. So, because I think we got a pretty good picture of the struggles that she's been going through, and because we're coming up next to a break, what's the question for us that we can help you with today?
Okay. I received a text from him the day after the election, asking about how and then I got a reason why I was wrong.
Okay.
And I just said, I'm sorry that you think that. And then I got a joint text that afternoon from both he and my daughter-in-law saying that for all of these reasons, and they listed a whole plethora of them.
So they wanted to cut off. So
person,
yeah. So
and they said goodbye.
Oh, that's so painful. Kate, hold on. No problem. Hey, we got to get to a break right now. But right after this, we're going to come back to you. We're going to give you some guidance because we hear the hurt. We'll be right back right after this.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for your life and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you're with us today. We're talking with Kate in Anaheim. She's just been through the ringer with her kids and the sexual, political, all of the things going on that create rupture and now even cut off. So, Mark, where does Kate go from here?
Yeah, Kate, so your daughter's cut you off because it sounds primarily the results of the election didn't go the way that she liked. Now, whenever we have loss, we have grief. We go through the stages of grief, and one of the stages of grief is anger. And it sounds like your daughter is displacing her anger and disappointment of the election on you. She needs to find somebody who she can channel that grief and that anger and that blame to. And it sounds like she's putting it on you, because I wonder if the results of the election...
And I realized that, yes.
Yeah, because I wonder if the results of the election had been different, if she would be cutting you off. Most likely not. Right. And so if you know that, recognize that what's happening now is anger. It's not necessarily personal to you. Now, what we do know about grief is hopefully... we can get to acceptance somewhere along the line. So this is really the long game of you realizing that this is about her. It's not about you. You just happen to be the outlet here. And so keep being you. Keep being your authentic self. Keep showing up. Keep showing love. And the hope is that she will get through her anger and her grief, and she'll get to acceptance.
At this moment... there's no communication. I've been cut off. We're parting ways. So one of the things I was considering, I haven't responded because I thought that any response was going to be incendiary too. And so I thought I'm gonna let this go. But at some point, something needs to be addressed. And one person had suggested going to counseling, and I could offer going to counseling. And that I would, something like that. Well, and is that something that I should offer at some point soon, or is it something I should offer at all?
I personally would just give a little bit of space right now. The election was 2 weeks ago, so it's still really, really fresh. Right. I would just give some space. I think you're right. Any response could have been perceived as, resistance to. But what we're coming up against is some natural connection points with Thanksgiving, with Christmas. So give some space. Reach out at Thanksgiving. If you don't hear back, reach out at Christmas. Let the fire burn down a little bit before you go straight to, hey, I think we got a problem, we need to go to counseling. Because I think if you do that, she might see that you're flipping it back and saying she's the problem, and she may resist even more.
That's really good. That's really wise.
I have a different opinion. I would not answer at all, but that might be my personal bias because I'm a pleaser and I want things to get fixed so quickly. So take something else into consideration. You might write to her a letter, an old-time letter, to let her know, hey, I accept that you need space, and after this letter, I'm not going to communicate with you for a while. I'm going to give you that space. But I am taking your list into consideration. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to look at, are there things in myself that I need to change? You might even add, I can understand that you would feel unsafe because of the way I voted, because of the results of the election. So if you need to take space, I'm sad about that, but I will accept it.
Yeah, I think both of those are really good.
You're
Take
not going to go
write the
wrong
letter. Yeah,
either way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then see if there's
the letter idea.
Yeah,
I really like that, and that I will absolutely. I can absolutely do all of this. I wasn't a terrific mom.
Well,
I just wasn't.
Yeah. Kate.
I was a single mom.
Yeah. Well, Kate, there's let me jump in because there's a lot that goes in behind all of this that you can. What I would recommend, because I think the therapy is a really good starting point, but go individual first. Mm-hmm. Go individual therapy, and the therapist can help you construct that letter and help you work on what it would look like if there's the potential of repair in the relationship moving forward. So stay on the line because we can connect you with a therapist in your area. We're also going to send you the book Trust. And I believe that in there, that is a great explanation that Henry does of just what does trusting relationships look like? What do we do when trust is ruptured, and how do we become more trustworthy people? So, Kate, thank you so much for calling in today. And yeah, seek in this really, really hard cutoff that is way too common in our culture today. Work on yourself, look at yourself, and then become the safer person for your daughter to have the opportunity to reconnect to. We're going to go to one more call today. We're going to go to Anna in New York, listening on Sirius XM. Anna, we only have a couple minutes left here, and I wish we had more time, but I definitely wanted to get to you before the end of our program. If you could real quickly tell us what's going on and how we can help you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I've been married 33 years. I have been in AA for 7 years now. I'm a people pleaser. My husband's not a believer. I'm in a church for 7 years now that's Bible-based. I'm in a great group of women. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what the word narcissist meant until recently. And I hate to put labels, but, that's my husband. It's...
But you're seeing the shoe and it's fitting. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. There's another woman in my life group that's in the same predicament, and she's been sending me video, tapes on narcissism, and C.S. Lewis has one on narcissism. Chris Reese is
Anna, even what you're describing so far gives us a really good background. What's the question, given that this is a painful marriage you're in?
My friend said not try to, because I can't talk to him. He just flies off the handle. It's just getting worse, is what I'm saying. It's getting worse and worse. And she said, just don't say anything. Just don't say anything. And this morning, he's leaving, and I was doing the wash, and he said, are you mad? Why are you mad? I said, I'm not mad, because if I tell him what's wrong, So Anna,
let me jump in, because we hear what you're saying. What's the question for us? Is it how
by not saying? So I don't know what to do. I mean, now he's saying, I haven't had sex in a week.
Anna, we do have an answer. We do have an answer to your question. Okay. I don't think it's always don't say anything, but rather when there's a calmer moment, I think it would be helpful to let him know, hey, I'm feeling lonely in our marriage, and I'm feeling hurt, and I think you're irritated with me frequently. Our marriage means a lot to me. I don't want to give up on it. I would like us to go to counseling. Would you be willing to join me? Now, he may very likely say no, because I think he's resistant and defensive. So if he says no, I want you to tell him, well, I'm going to get help. And I am going to have to talk about our marriage with the therapist, so I'd rather you were there so you can give your opinion. But I'm going to find out what to do so that I can know how to respond when you're in an irritated mood with me. I hope you'll change your mind and join me. And then you'll find in the therapy, Anna, that there are specific things you can do to make yourself and your heart safer if you decide to stay in your marriage, and there are ways you can influence him, even though he is so resistant, and I know that's painful.
And so, Anna, we are coming up to the end of the show, but I want to give you a resource that I think will be incredibly helpful for you. It will be very illuminating to your situation and strengthen you, and that's The Emotionally Destructive Relationship by Leslie Vernick. And we're going to dig into that, get into your counseling, make sure it's a person who does have great familiarity with narcissism, because that is a painful experience. Thank you so much, Anna, for calling in. Thank you all for being with us. Listen, if you're looking for a Christmas gift, go to our store at newlife.com. We have plenty of options there. And make it easy on yourself and make it a blessing to other people. Thank you all for being with us. Until next time, be well.
Listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.